The unbelievably true story of the life of Amy Ellis, a cultural autobiography. It all started in June of 1990. I was born in Auburn, Washington, just outside of Seattle. I have 2 older brothers, and I grew up with my mom and my dad. But I got back to Texas as fast as I could. It's where I consider home to be. We went to school in a predominantly Caucasian town, and I grew up very involved in sports. That was a very large part of my personal culture. I played everything from basketball to softball and cheerleading, but softball was always my sport of choice. From spring to summer, fall, and winter, if there was a field, I was playing. Now, the first year of high school, I attended school with a little bit more diversity. There were some African Americans and Hispanics at my school. But I moved my last year and a half of high school, and I graduated from a school outside of St. Louis. And at this school, there was a lot more diversity. In fact, I was one of only about a dozen Caucasian students. Here I am on graduation day, and I graduated with my brother. Actually, before him. See, my first name comes before his in the alphabet, so I got my diploma before he did, and I'd never let him forget it. Now, my childhood consisted of the all-American stuff to do. We had Easter egg hunts, we had grilling in the backyard with Dad, and I even went and dressed up like a flapper for Halloween. But my mom always told me, pretty is as pretty does. And then don't forget the horrific hairdo that none of us wanted, but Mom made us get. And then I even participated with the Girl Scouts. Note the big red bow in the hair. And then I was going to know how to make coffee. With as much as my family drinks, I had to learn. So a lot of girls had the play kitchen. Mine was not complete until I got that play coffee maker. Now, I may have been raised in Texas, but that does not mean I say ain't every other word and that I use all the other traditional redneck slang, often stereotyped with Texas. While my accent may be stronger the longer I'm in Texas or surrounded by people from Texas, my language is a blend of the Midwest and Northeast. Some terms have come from each region. So if you pick your state or your region, you pick your words. I have had to explain the term y'all more times than I can count. And the 2 hoots and a holler, very few people outside of Texas understand that. After high school, I moved over to Philadelphia, and I was hit with another language barrier. I grew up saying morning and y'all, and let's not forget the big one, Coke. Each region has a different term for it. There's soda, there's pop, cola, everything in between. But Philadelphia has a language of its own. They have a different word for home, school, roads, towns. It's all different over there. So it took some time to get accustomed to it. That big one is Coke, and it is different everywhere we go. You want a Coke? You want a cola? You want a pop? Everyone calls it something different, as we know, and there is a difference. Now, I have traveled internationally also. Here is a picture of a girls' night out at a Cajun festival that I went to with a good friend of mine. And we did the big balloon hats and the dancing. And this is a picture of the Junkanoo Carnival in the Bahamas a few years ago. This was a great opportunity to enjoy the great music, the great food, and explore the great culture. Now, another thing that is really big in the Caribbean is still Bob Marley. He is considered the timeless music man, and I have seen it firsthand. If you ever get the chance, you should definitely try the traditional Cajun shrimp gumbo. It's amazing. Now, what does all this cultural involvement mean for me and how I can implement it into a classroom? I've experienced a lot of different ways of life, languages, traditions, and just overall culture. And I think I can blend that into a great classroom to make more students feel included and make sure that they don't feel different or left out because of their personal culture and what they have experienced. Hope you enjoyed my cultural autobiography. Thanks for tuning in.